Craving the perfect holiday snack? Check out Farmer Bill's Biltong. Think beef jerky, but better. No sugar, no preservatives, just pure animal protein goodness. Crafted from premium grass-fed beef or bison and air-dried to perfection, Farmer Bill's Biltong is nutrient-packed, energy-dense, and perfect for an on-the-go treat or a standout snack for your next party. My favorite is the original bison, but the other flavors like the original beef, smokehouse, and spicy chili have me second-guessing that choice more than once. Visit FarmerBillsProvisions.com to grab a 1-pound slab or a variety pack and use code BIZBIT10 for 10% off. Farmer Bill's Biltong, don't be the 2-liter guy at this year's Christmas party.
One of my favorite taglines that I'm using at the moment is normalize, don't evangelize Bitcoin. So I want to see a Bitcoin accepted here sticker on every high street and ideally on every shop front. And it just becomes normal rather than us saying Bitcoin fixes this, which it will, we know. But that's quite threatening for your average person. It's a Trojan horse, I say. We're just introducing it to society and it's seeping in.
Welcome to the Business Bitcoinization Show, the show dedicated to helping you enrich your life and grow your business with Bitcoin, the hardest money on planet Earth. I'm your host, Josh Friedemann, and our guests today are Chris, Simon, and James, who are the 3 members of Bridge2Bitcoin. Bridge2Bitcoin is dedicated to helping merchants in the United Kingdom build their businesses and reduce payment costs by accepting Bitcoin. Before we get to our interview with these 3 gentlemen from Bridge2Bitcoin, we do have this week's Bitcoin Meetup Spotlight. And this week, we're actually going over to the United Kingdom. In 2022, the number of Bitcoin meetups in the UK and Ireland increased from 8 to 26 and has continued to grow, now totaling 30 and counting. These meetups, including the Northamptonshire Bitcoin Network, Berkshire Bitcoiners, and Bitcoin Surrey, are organized by members of Bridge2Bitcoin, which you'll learn more about today. Bridge2Bitcoin considers the meetup scene to be a crucial aspect of the merchant onboarding process. They believe that it strengthens the local Bitcoin community and introduces businesses that accept Bitcoin to Bitcoiners, a new group of customers eager to spend their digital currency. For a comprehensive and up-to-date list of Bitcoin-only meetups in the UK and Ireland, visit bitcoinevents.uk. Of course, if you're not in the United Kingdom and you want to find a Bitcoin meetup, I encourage you to download the Oshi app where you'll be able to find the closest Bitcoin meetup to you. Now, we're going to get to our interview with Bridge2Bitcoin right after this. Business owners, unlock the benefits Bitcoin has to offer your business with the Bitcoin for Business Quick Start Guide. This 27-page guide highlights the 6 ways you can grow your business with Bitcoin. Check it out in the show notes. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much for having us on, Josh.
Hi, thanks for having us.
So I like to start off every single interview with a few questions that help us to get to know you a little bit better and give us some insight for our own lives. Today we have 3 people on the show, so I'll just toss one question out to each of you, kind of going through the line here. Christopher, we're going to start with you first. When and how did you first learn about Bitcoin?
Hi, Josh. Well, thanks again for having us on the call. I'm going to answer this question for all 3 of us, just to sort of set the scene as to who we are and our backgrounds very briefly. I'll try and keep it as succinct as possible. So Simon is our oldest member of the business in terms of his class of 2013. I won't go into too much detail. I came into Bitcoin in 2017. I took a sort of horseshoe journey into Bitcoin, much like many others, as in found out about Bitcoin. I've got a bit of a business angel investing hat on and thought, wow, this looks great. The fundamentals are amazing, but I've missed the boat. I need to look at these other cryptocurrencies and went to the dark side. But thankfully, after I made a bit of money and lost a lot of money, I came back to Bitcoin when I came to my senses and realized that the fundamentals for Bitcoin were the true fundamentals, and all the others were essentially fairground tokens. So yeah, I have a bit of a business angel investing background. That's my sort of one of my fiat hats that I wear. And James came into Bitcoin in 2020. He's got a bit of a TradFi background, 20 years in TradFi, and he's the only person I know who has a master's in Bitcoin, a fiat education qualification in Bitcoin. So I like to blow his trumpet about that because I haven't come across anyone yet who has a qualification like that. And the 3 of us met in last year via Peter McCormack because Peter bought a soccer club, as you guys call it in the USA. We call it a football club because you use a ball with your feet. That's why it's called football. But anyway, Peter, I'll let Peter McCormack pick that up in his own time.
Thank you for the education.
So we met at Real Bedford when we went soon after he bought the football club, and we met there completely separately. We went along and we got talking as Bitcoiners do, and we had aligned visions and realized all three of us wanted to live on a Bitcoin circular economy. I came away from that meeting and set up Bitcoin Surrey, a local Surrey meetup group. James went and started a meetup group in Berkshire. And Simon was already running a meetup group in Northants. And together we formed Bridge2Bitcoin, because rather than going away and working silo, if you like, to try and promote Bitcoin, or rather merchants accepting Bitcoin in our local areas, we thought, let's unite together and combine our resources and do this nationally. So that's, in a very small nutshell, our background with how the times that we came into Bitcoin and how we came together as a group. But I've got a bit of reputation for holding the mic, so I'm going to stop there, and I won't flourish, I won't embellish on that question too much, because I know you've got 4 other questions to ask Josh. So that's a very sort of thin introduction as to how the three of us came into Bitcoin and how we met and how we formed Bridge2Bitcoin.
I appreciate that. And now we're going to go to, I didn't realize this, but our masters in Bitcoin. James, the question number 2 is this: what's an insight or fact about Bitcoin that you wish everyone understood?
Okay, thanks. I'll be dealing with Chris later on that masters in Bitcoin. There, it's a bit of it's a fiat education certification that actually isn't most of the important learning I've done. It just happened to be where I started. To answer the question, the insight or fact about Bitcoin that I wish people understood, and it's quite similar actually to what Dante from Swan said a couple of weeks ago, I think to you, Josh. I wish people understood what I think it is, which I think it's a protocol for value transfer, like TCP/IP and HTTP are for the Internet of Communications. Bitcoin, and in particular Lightning, are the equivalent for building seamless exchange of value in any digital interaction. And increasingly, I'm coming to think that most people's first use of Bitcoin won't be to buy a beer or make an investment, but simply to make use of a new tech service only made possible by Bitcoin Lightning embedded into some new tech product, possibly provided by their employer. So that's the key insight or fact about. It's not a fact, but it's a view that I have. It's an insight that I have that I think that could well be most people on the planet's first interface with Bitcoin. You know, they're not going to, it might not be that they're spending it. It might not be that they're investing their money in it. It might just be that they're using a new tech product, and underneath it is a Lightning protocol embedded. So that's an insight that has only recently come to me, you know, through the development of things like Nostr, Lightning as a service from Breeze Tech, Zion. You know, there are a whole load of these things that are cropping up coming out of the woodwork almost week by week, where people are building stuff and embedding this protocol underneath. So to me, that is the insight that I think that I'd really like to talk about. If I'm was saying to people, forget money for a moment, think about it this way.
So Simon, now we come to you, the OG Bitcoiner. I didn't realize how appropriate each of these questions was for each of you before asking them, but what's the Bitcoin resource that you most recommend to other people?
Well, the one that I still go back to is the bullish case for Bitcoin. The original article, because it's freely there, available on the internet. The essay, it's a long essay, but it's really it's still a really good way. I mean, I always preface it by saying to people that it is long, but it's well worth it. I think I do sort of have that sort of obsessive searching constantly for a really good, concise way to orange pill people. I think a lot of us do, because once we've get it and we understand Bitcoin and it really sinks in, it makes so much sense to us that I think we then try to search for something else that can do it in a fast track kind of way for other people. You know, we kind of think that if I understand it, surely there's a way that I can get other people to understand what I understand. And I think that I've kind of got obsessed at times of finding that maybe is there a 5-minute video or there's a short article or something that will just get people to understand what I understand now. But I don't think there is. You've got to really you've got to do a lot of reading and thinking, and it takes time. But a really good starting point, I think, is The Bullish Case for Bitcoin, and now obviously expanded into a book, which I haven't read actually, but the article is, I still recommend that. I still send it to friends and family to read, because I think it covers all the, you know, got the history of money in there as well, and that sort of stuff.
So Simon, we'll stay with you for question number 4 as well. Beyond Bitcoin, what is a tool, resource, or an idea that's been helpful to you or your business recently? Well,
I mean, we've done Bridge2Bitcoin, Bitcoin events.uk, which is a website that which I built, are all built with WordPress. So I'd say WordPress has been really useful. It's obviously an open source software. It's really very useful to us, and I suppose it, you know, to liken it to Bitcoin, it's one of those things that it makes it very easy now for people to use to build websites. And I think as software gets better and all these different systems that, like James said, that have Bitcoin built into them, it's making it easy for people to use Bitcoin. So yeah, WordPress is really easy to use. Good open source project. It's been instrumental for us recently, so we've used it a lot. Yeah.
And now we have our final arbitrary but insightful question going back to you, James. As a general life principle, is it better to ask why or why not?
Yeah, so I've had to think about this quite a lot. And I'm not entirely sure about my answer, but I plumped for why in the end. And it's for 2 reasons. The first reason was it helps you to understand whether the benefit of doing or working on something is worth it. So why am I doing this? Why should I work on it? And then secondly, from the reverse angle, because too much time and resource is wasted on why nots, when they are on the surface great ideas, but address no real problem or demand. So if why were used well, we'd waste less time and resources on the why nots. You know, for example, potentially controversially, depending on your audience, blockchain in any other use except Bitcoin and maybe stablecoins is an example of not enough use of why. So that would be my answer.
Meet Linkster, your premier Bitcoin-focused advisor. Linkster caters to businesses, institutions, family offices, and high-net-worth individuals. They merge your unique financial goals and needs with Linkster's Bitcoin expertise to craft your own sustainable plan to preserve and grow the value of your hard-earned profits and retained earnings. At Linkster, it's not just advice, it's tailored execution. Connect directly with the founder by visiting linkster.com. That's LYNCSTER.com. Linkster. Secure your future with Bitcoin. Today's episode of Business Bitcoinization is proudly brought to you by Velis Commerce, where the future of business technology meets Bitcoin. As we journey through the era of Bitcoin and its transformational impact on businesses, there's one name that stands out: Velis Commerce. Whether you're looking to build a cutting-edge website, a seamless mobile app, or custom software, Velis is your go-to team. They've been diving deep into the world of Bitcoin since 2014, making them one of the most experienced groups for integrating Bitcoin and Lightning payments into a variety of digital platforms. But here's what truly sets them apart. Velis Commerce doesn't just build. They bring a wealth of knowledge to ensure your project's success from day one. Their team understands the nuances of Bitcoin, ensuring that your business stays ahead of the curve. And for all business Bitcoinization listeners out there, Velis Commerce is offering a free consultation to kickstart your project the right way. So if you're ready to future-proof your business in the coming age of hyper-Bitcoinization, head over to veliscommerce.com or reach out on Twitter at veliscommerce. Let's make sure your business thrives in the Bitcoin era. All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your answers here. Chris, I want to come back to you now. Could you share with us? So just a little background for the listeners. It was probably about a month ago, I'm guessing, where I was listening to Cafe Bitcoin, and one of you, Chris, I'm guessing it was you, correct me if I'm wrong, but hopped up on the stage and started talking about what you're doing in the UK. And it got me excited because we've been talking about how business owners are incorporating Bitcoin into what they're doing, and to find three guys who are focused on that in the places they live was, I just want to hear from you firsthand about what you're doing. So could you share with us a little bit about the growth you've seen so far in Bitcoin adoption in the UK, and maybe anything else that you didn't get to share earlier about what brought you together and what you're looking to do in the coming years?
Yes, of course, Josh. So just to correct you, it was actually James who was speaking on Cafe Bitcoin on our behalf, not myself. But to expand on how we met and what we do, as you said earlier, we onboard merchants in the UK to accept Bitcoin payments. But we have a slightly different strategy with how we do that. I'm going to just jump straight in there into how we do it. So a lot of people, where should I start? I'm going to start from the position of onboarding individuals. So when we onboard individuals, we come in hard, don't we? We come across quite quickly, quite cultish, because we love Bitcoin as Bitcoiners. Once you fall down that rabbit hole, you fall down relatively quickly. Most of us, some of us take longer. And then you want to tell everyone, don't you? You want to tell everyone about this wonderful thing, Bitcoin, and everyone needs to understand it, and they need some now. They need to understand it. They need to move away from fiat because that's broken. And as soon as we start telling people, we've all seen it, our friends and family glaze over and everything goes blank, and it doesn't work, does it? It's our conversion rate, for want of a better phrase. I'd like to see the actual statistics for Bitcoin conversion rates, taking a no coiner and converting them to a Bitcoiner. And I imagine it's pretty poor. So a lot of people, when they hear about what we're doing, they imagine that we're trying to orange pill merchants at an individual level, at an almost similar way that we would try and orange pill our friends and family. But that's not what we do. We're actually, and this is evolved over time, we're actually a marketing company, we've realized. What we do is we enable businesses to open their business up to a new customer base. So what that means is it's additional revenue for businesses. That's what we're proposing. So this new customer base are Bitcoiners. And as we know, we, Bitcoiners, we are extremely loyal customers. You've seen it for yourself on social media. We are the only group of people that will travel an extraordinary distance to go and buy a coffee or a beer. And then when we get at this establishment, we record it on our phones and we go, I'm buying a coffee with my currency. This is amazing. This is fantastic. Everybody look at me. And then we get hundreds of likes on social media and we love it. We're the most enthusiastic customer base that's ever existed. We travel miles, as I say. So, as I say, what we're actually doing, we're offering this service where we're marketing new businesses to Bitcoiners and open their doors to this new customer base. It just so happens that this new customer base are Bitcoiners, and it so happens that they have this currency that they love, that we love. So it's a different strategy because we're not trying to orange pill the merchants. What we're doing is we're helping their businesses. We're saying, look, would you like would you like additional revenue for your business? Now, if a business owner says no, thank you, I tend to think maybe we should step away from this person anyway, because surely, that's the point of setting up a business. You're trying to create revenue because you want to create a better life for yourself and for your family, and you want to provide for yourself and your family. So a bit like Bitcoin, there's only upside as far as we can see, because you either get additional revenue from this new customer base, or you don't at no cost. We provide our services free of charge, mainly because, from my perspective, I want there to be as little friction as possible for business owners to accept our services. If we were to say, right, we will offer this service for you, and we charge £1,000 or $1,000, whatever it might be, you can imagine what would happen. They would go, oh, right, you're a Bitcoiner. Yeah, I've heard about that scammy money. And you want me to give you £1,000 so that these criminals can come and spend your criminal money in my coffee shop? You can imagine what they'd be thinking if we went, yeah, it's only £1,000 and you get loads of. So we're removing friction. Well, I'm trying to remove as much friction as possible. So there's no financial outlay. There's only upside, as I say. So it's this wonderful strategy, I think, where it's a bit like Bitcoin, isn't there? There's the amount of upside in Bitcoin is huge compared to the downside. And as I say, we do this for free. So yeah, we're super pumped, and we can do this for any business because there are a few services that allow us to do this throughout the globe, but specifically in the UK, we can use the likes of Coin Corner to flip the Bitcoin into the local currency. So in the UK, that will be British pounds. In Europe, they can do that for the euro, with the euro rather. There are other companies like Ibex Pay, so they can do that in the Americas, so they can flip that into the US dollar. We've also got some other merchant apps that we're speaking with as well. So a new one that we really like is Swiss Bitcoin Pay. So they've just launched. So Jimmy, the founder there, we've been speaking to him over the last couple of weeks. That's a really exciting new merchant app. We're really excited for that. I urge everyone to have a look at that. It's go and have a look at it. Swiss Bitcoin Pay. It's no KYC as well. All you need to sign up with Swiss Bitcoin Pay is an email address, a password, and an online wallet, hardware wallet preferably, that you want your funds transferred to, swept into every 24 hours. So Jimmy calls it non-custodial because they only hold the funds for a maximum of 24 hours, and then it gets swept to your wallet. So that's all you need. Those three things. There's no KYC process because Jimmy is based in Switzerland, and the way Swiss law works, he can do that. So it's fantastic. So we've just gone live with that, telling our community in the UK. We had a Twitter space the other day, and we dropped it then. And I think it was about 4 days ago, because I've just had a look, and 4 businesses have signed up in the space of 4 days. That's fantastic. We've got a conversion every day. We're getting in a new business sign up with Swiss Bitcoin Pay. I've digressed a little, but Swiss Bitcoin Pay are looking at enabling the flipping of Bitcoin to a local currency. So what that as well. So that's on their roadmap. So what that does, it opens the door to every business. Every business can benefit from this new market. Now, some maxis might say, well, they're not proper Bitcoiners, are they? Because they're flipping it straight into the local currency. Now, from my perspective, I don't mind that for a couple of reasons. First reason is they're adding to the liquidity of the network. So the third reason is they're providing a service for us as Bitcoiners where we can live or move closer to living on a Bitcoin circular economy. And thirdly, and this is the interesting bit, it starts them on their Bitcoin rabbit hole journey. Because what happens is those customers I talked about earlier, us, we're extremely enthusiastic. We turn up at their businesses. And as I say, We're like no other customer base who's ever turned up. We're the happiest, most grateful customers they've ever seen. They've never seen customers before thank them so profusely. We go to a bar, we buy a beer. We want the owner out here, and we want to tip him. We want to tip every waiter and waitress. We make them download Wallet of Satoshi. This is great. This is amazing. We're going to have our meetup here every month. It's going to be brilliant. We're your most enthusiastic customer base. So my thesis is, and I'll give an example and then I'll stop talking, is that it starts them on that rabbit hole and they soon want to know more about Bitcoin, and they slip down that rabbit hole and become Bitcoiners eventually, maybe relatively quickly. And for me, it's a more organic, natural process. So coming back to orange pilling individuals, we're kind of, when we try and orange pill individuals, we end up ramming it down people's throats, don't we? We're like, come on, you have to understand it. Come on, what's there not to understand? And we forget as people that on a personal level, it took us as individuals a little while normally to fall down that rabbit hole. But for some reason, when we're trying to pitch Bitcoin to friends and family, we want them to get it in 5 minutes. What's there not? Well, why can't you understand it? There's only 21 million. It's a finite supply. It's decentralized. Come on. You've got to love it. But by doing it this way, we're allowing business owners and employees to learn about Bitcoin in their own time. They're being exposed to it. One of my favorite taglines that I'm using at the moment is normalize, don't evangelize Bitcoin. So I want to see a Bitcoin accepted here sticker on every high street, and ideally on every shop front. And it just becomes normal rather than us saying it'll fix everything. Bitcoin fixes this, which it will, we know. But that's quite threatening for your average person. It's a Trojan horse, I say. We're just introducing it to society and it's seeping in. So as an example, and then I'll stop talking, Josh, James onboarded a pub that's local to him. This business owner, this pub owner was not interested in Bitcoin. He was only interested in the revenue. And for the reasons that I said before, we were fine with that. Great, that's fine. You're adding to liquidity somewhere where we can go and have beers. James can start having meetups at that pub. Great, fantastic. And we can start spending our Bitcoin there. Fantastic. But he was not interested in Bitcoin. It was categorically, not interested. I'm interested in the revenue. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I want to flip it into pound sterling. Great. So James went along to his pub, set up the hardware devices after he'd set up an account, made sure the dashboard and the backroom stuff was all okay. That pub was done. A couple or so weeks later, we went to his other pub. He's got a chain of 2 pubs. His other pub's in London. It's called the Georgian, Devonshire and Chiswick on the river. We went along. We were going through the same process in terms of setting up, make sure the point of sale device was set up correctly, making sure he's happy with the dashboard. This owner approached us completely unprovoked. And bear in mind that a couple of weeks beforehand, not interested in Bitcoin. He came up to us as we were working away, said, James, Chris, at this pub, I'd like to hold the Bitcoin. I don't want to flip it into pound sterling. Can you do that for us? We were like, yeah, of course. And that's my evidence that it starts them on their rabbit hole journey. We're taking the horse to the water. And I think that we'll see, for want of a bad analogy, we'll start to see horses drink more than if we're trying to ram water down their throat. But anyway, I've answered your question in a very long-winded way. And I'm not even sure I've answered your question, Josh. I've just ended up talking just to highlight what we were talking about before we started the show, or what James and Simon were saying, that I just talked too much. So I'll stop talking there, Josh, because I've probably not answered your question at all.
You've answered the question quite thoroughly. We're going to go down to Simon now. And I appreciate that, the context of what you're doing. It's helpful for, first of all, other people to hear as they're having conversations with business owners, not to necessarily try to force things on them. Give them a no downside opportunity and let them come to their own conclusions. And that's a great way to handle it. So I appreciate your answer there, Simon. I do want to turn to you real quick. You have presumably been involved in Bitcoin community the longest. I know that you were leading the first meetup, at least of the 3 of you. I'm curious to know, when it comes to Bridge2Bitcoin, are you kind of allowing the attendees of your meetups to guide you as to which businesses you go to, and maybe if not, what's your strategy there? And as a second part to that, are there particular businesses, maybe beyond pubs and coffee shops, cafes, that it's a really good fit for, and kind of you have a natural in to?
Well, as an example of a place that's a really good fit, I've got 3 kids, and one of them we homeschool, and she goes to a homeschooling centre in the town next to us. And after a couple of weeks of going there, I got chatting. There's a couple that run it, and I realised they were going to be prime people to orange pill. Turned out the husband already sort of traded cryptocurrency, I suppose. He proudly got out his phone and showed me, loads of, I'll say, altcoins and on his phone, a great list of them. So I invited him to join our Telegram group for our meetup, and slowly started to tell him that, it's a lot more stress than it's worth to be trading altcoins, and really should be sticking with Bitcoin. And so he started to listen to me. He'd never really met any Bitcoiners, I suppose, before, and he was very happy to start accepting Bitcoin. So I think that businesses that I suppose are already on the fringes of society, I suppose, with homeschooling's kind of out there. It's not in the normie world, so they're prime places to kind of start. It doesn't really have much bearing, I suppose, with the meetups as to where we orange pill next. It's been kind of random. What I've found the most success with is really getting out into the community. And when you go around and speak to businesses, you might get a knockback and say, oh, we're not interested. But maybe you should go and speak to, John down the road. There's a good example where there was a skateboard shop that I onboarded in Kettering, and he said, oh, you should go over and speak to Roman, his name was, and he owned his burger van across the way. He said, I've heard him talking about Bitcoin before, or trading cryptocurrencies or whatever. So I went over to him, and it was literally the fastest. It was like 2 minutes. I showed him, I think, Moon Wallet at the time, and showed him Moon Wallet, and within 3 minutes, literally, he was accepting Bitcoin. I gave him some stickers, Bitcoin accepted here. And we went along then and had our meetup there. He serves beer and he's got a seating area out the front, and we had one of our meetups there as well. I think getting out and speaking to people in the community, and one sort of leads to another, rather than just randomly targeting places. Get out and listen to people, meeting real people, and that kind of leads you along a path that makes sense.
So, James, I kind of want to turn to you here real quick. When it comes to, and Simon actually just answered this. I wanted to get to a solid answer here. Simon has begun to answer it. But moving forward, what are some things that Bridge2Bitcoin is looking to do strategically to get in front of more business owners? What are some things that you're looking to do to market yourself? I'm asking you this because I realized that, as Chris corrected me on earlier, you were the mouth of Bridge2Bitcoin that day when I first heard about you. So maybe what are some things you're doing to market yourselves, and what do you want to be doing in the future? Where does Bridge2Bitcoin go from here?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. So something we're really excited about is next month. So from March the 20th to the 22nd, we'll be exhibiting at a Normie World trade show in London, the hospitality, restaurant, catering and pub show in the XL in London. So huge venue, thousands of visitors, tens of thousands of visitors actually, and many hundreds of exhibitors in that industry in the UK. And we'll have a stand there, just a little stand in the corner, paid for via fundraising, grants that we've received from, we won a pitching competition at the Edinburgh Bitcoin conference back in October last year, which was sponsored by P1 Investments and Geyser and Wallet of Satoshi have donated us some money, and that's enabled us to go and pay for a stand at a Normie World exhibition. So we're really excited to get out there, out of the Bitcoin zone, because as Chris said, we're a marketing company actually. That's what we are, and that's a normal thing. Yeah, we're a marketing company. Yeah. Bitcoin's the kind of thing that we enable, and we give the advice, and we know the technology, and we can kind of make that all work, and we can do the marketing to the Bitcoin community via the meetup groups and what Simon does, and also via our social media network. So that's how we deliver the marketing. We keep abreast of the technology. So as Chris was mentioning, whether it's Coin Corner or IBEX or Swiss Bitcoin Pay or some self-hosted solutions where people have the right, Bitcoin knowledge or propensity, desire to do the technical side of it as well. So we can support all of those things. But yeah, so we're going to a show in March. And then we're also going to another show in October. So we've already, before we've even gone to this first one, we've already booked up to another show in October, again at the XL. Similar market sector. But I think one of the things is, just as we've been on a journey to discover that we're a marketing company, we're also on a journey about how to address different marketplaces, how to bring Bitcoin as a payment service to different markets. And it's a kind of, it's a co-development situation. I mean, we will find as we go on this journey that our external environment changes, and we'll respond to that. I think it's always a good idea to not try and set in stone everything you're going to do. Just focus on the stuff that you can do in the now and the near now, and then respond to the opportunities as they come in. Because I think saying that you've got a 3 to 5 year strategic plan if you're working in Bitcoin is probably, you should probably go and do something else. It's not realistic. Yeah. Just keep your options open, keep learning, keep working, and do the stuff you can do today, I think, is our focus.
Excellent. Well, gentlemen, I appreciate you sharing on the show today. I want to kick it to you for final thoughts. Maybe we'll go in the order we just went in. Chris, Simon, and James. 30 seconds, except for you, Chris, you get 15. Final thoughts, things you want to leave the listeners with, just to encourage them or to give them some helpful tips in their own businesses or in conversations they might be having with other people.
Okay, I'll do my best to keep it brief, and I'll quickly break that promise, Josh. If for tips, we're happy for people to contact us directly. So we're on the internet, we're bridge2bitcoin.com. We're also on Twitter at Bridge2Bitcoin, bridge in letters to the numeral 2 Bitcoin. And we regularly have calls with businesses throughout the world, mainly the UK, but we also have global interest as well. So we've had people, organizations, people across the globe approach us, and we're happy to share our strategy and our experiences. So we've, as a result of our conversations, there's now an equivalent Bridge to Bitcoin in New Zealand. They don't call themselves Bridge to Bitcoin. We offer our strategy, our blueprint, essentially for free, because that's part of the Bitcoin ethos. It's all FOSS, and we're happy to share that. We're not going to say you don't need to pay us. There's no, just give us a hat tip to say thanks to Bridge to Bitcoin on social media. That would be great. We do receive grants and donations. As I said at the beginning, we operate for free. So if you'd like to contribute to what we do with donating some sats, go and have a look at Geyser Fund. Look them up. They have a whole host of projects, including us, and we'd gratefully receive any donations if you like. But just before I finish off, I'm just going to pick up on the meetups that Simon was talking about. Meetups are integral. He doesn't blow his trumpet enough, Simon. So Simon is our meetup guru, and they're integral for what we do. Because when we go to businesses, or actually businesses get referred to us now, we can now go to businesses because we've had a boom in meetups thanks to Simon's work and others. And so when they come to us, we can say, we'll look them up and say, oh, you're in Newcastle. Yeah, there's a Newcastle group. They got 60 members or whatever the number is. Yeah, if you start accepting Bitcoin, you're a coffee shop. Yeah, we'll speak to them. I can almost guarantee you that they will start having meetups at your coffee shop on a regular basis. So that's additional income for you. So meetups, from my perspective, are really important. And that's why at Bridge2Bitcoin, we really encourage them. So they're good for good for two things. They're good for merchant adoption because they give us hard data. We can say, right, we definitely know there are this number of Bitcoiners in that area. There are probably more because quite a lot of us like to keep anonymous. But it gives us hard data. And two, it's good for the soul. When we go to our first Bitcoin meetup in real life, it's a weight off our shoulders, isn't it? And it's wonderful to see when we have new Bitcoiners turn up at their first live real meetup. You can kind of see the relief in their eyes that it's real. They go, you can see it. It's all coming out. They've been trying to orange pill their friends and family, and the relief when they're like, "Oh my God, you guys get it!" And it's amazing, and it's fantastic to see. So not wanting to go down the cultish sort of route, it's great for the soul. And yeah, I'll end up rambling too much. So I guess that'd be my finish is connect with Bitcoiners. Wonderful things happen when you meet Bitcoiners in real life. Go to meetups. If you're a business owner, which you probably are, which is why you listen to this podcast, go connect with your local meetups. Consider accepting Bitcoin. Even if you can't flip it into your local currency, maybe it's an asset that you want to hold because, let's be honest, we're still early. So the amount of extra revenue this is going to generate for you and your business might not be very much. And if you're not worried about that extra revenue as cash flow because your business has already got the cash flow, maybe it's an asset that you will want to hold, either pull it out of the business if you want and hold it personally. But that might be an interesting asset for you to acquire through your business. So I'll leave it at that because I've gone well over my allocated 15 seconds. Apologies, Josh.
Simon, 3 seconds for you.
That was the longest 15 seconds. 3 from me now. You stole my summing up there, Chris. I was going to say about the meetups, but Chris has said it all. Meetups are incredibly important to use as leverage to orange pill the businesses or get them onboarded. So I'll just plug the bitcoinevents.uk is the website which lists all the meetups around the UK. So if you're listening to this and you're in the UK and you don't go to a meetup yet, go to the website. There's a map there that shows where your nearest meetup will be. Links to Telegram groups, Twitter handles for the meetups. So get all the information there and join a meetup and get along and go and meet some other Bitcoiners. It will change your life.
Perfect. And James, what are your final thoughts for us?
Shout out to UK Bitcoiners. If it's at all possible, come to the XL in London, March to the 20th to the 22nd. You can just come one day or all of the days, whatever you like. Come and say hello to us. It's free to register. Follow us on Twitter at Bridge2Bitcoin, as Chris said before, and come along and help us turn the XL orange. Because although we're going into normie world, it will help us to demonstrate what we're pitching to businesses. This is a real market. It's active people who can become your customers if you accept Bitcoin. So you are part of the solution. You're part of the proposition that we're making. So come down to the XL, meet us, and demonstrate that.
Can I add one last thing, Josh, before we finish?
Of course. No, this is Chris for the audio listeners.
Swiss Bitcoin Pay. I can't remember if I mentioned it's global, so you can use it anywhere. So anyone who's listening to this across the globe, go have a look at it. If you do download it and use it, please use our referral code Bridge, the number 2 Bitcoin, so that we know where you've heard about Swiss Bitcoin Pay from. But as I said earlier, non-KYC, 3 bits of information, and away you go for a business that wants to accept Bitcoin. It's really simple. It's like the business equivalent of Wallet of Satoshi. That's what I liken it to. So if you're a business owner, you're not accepting Bitcoin, this could be the solution for you. Cheers, Josh. Thank you very much.
All right, gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks
for having us.
See ya.
Well, friends, it's a wrap. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Business Bitcoinization Show. If you want to reach out to either me or Bridge2Bitcoin, you can find links down in the show notes. And wherever you are in the world, I encourage you to get involved in a local Bitcoin meetup. As always, keep building, keep growing, and until next time, keep living and leading well. If you're a regular listener of the podcast, thank you. If you want to take a further step in your support for the show, you can help us grow by listening on Fountain, a value-for-value podcast app on iOS or Android. If you hear something you like that you disagree with or anything else, you can share it by sending some sats and adding a comment with your thoughts. Some of you have already done this, and I appreciate it. I'm going to begin reading your boosts on upcoming episodes, so if you have some insight or value to add, let the people know. Getting started with Fountain is easy. You can add Bitcoin to your Fountain wallet by using your fiat accounts or any Lightning wallet. And one of my favorite features is that once you're using the app, you can earn sats just by listening on Fountain. Check out the link in the show notes to get started with Fountain today.